Arts Project Australia is a creative social enterprise that supports artists with intellectual disabilities. We promote their work as well as advocating for their inclusion within the broader contemporary art sector. We have around 160 artists who come to our studios in Northcote each week and build and develop their art practice. Being an artist is very difficult for a number of people with disabilities if they don't have the right studio equipment, the right mentoring and gallery support. So we as an organisation help them develop and grow their practice in the studio, and we help them build and develop their art careers through our gallery and external exhibitions and website. We don't teach. You'll notice that all the art styles are completely different. It's about each artist finding their own style. Our basic premise is painting and drawing, and everyone starts with painting and drawing, but we also offer specialty programs like printmaking, like a zine program, and very, very popularly a ceramic sculpture program. We have a number of artists who've developed a very significant style and a very significant following. Their art pieces are sought after by collectors. And we've had a very old kiln. It was literally in a rusted tin shed out in our courtyard. It had reached the end of its tether. So we decided that a really important project would be to replace our ceramics kiln. We kickstarted a fundraising appeal last year. We were really thrilled when City of Darebin kicked $5,000 in right at the beginning of the appeal to really set us off on the right direction. We aimed to raise $42,000 and we ended up with $48,000. Arts Project operates along the lines of a commercial gallery. Artists aren't paid by the hour. They're making original artwork for their own practice and collections. We sell on behalf of the artist, and the artist will always receive 60% of the sale. The beauty of the new kiln is we have the ability to fire more work, to fire it to a higher quality, and it gives the opportunity for artists to make more money from their ceramics. People don't have access to that at home, and very rare is it to find that sort of access within a community setting that's geared towards making income. We've always been focused on reducing our carbon footprint and being more responsible environmentally, and this kiln is going to further reduce our carbon footprint by the way its emissions are controlled.
I grew up with grandparents that were very fanatic in their gardens and in their veggie patches. My grandfather was really organized and he had all his vegetables neatly in one row. My grandmother grew everything together. She had her carrots, her flowers, her kales, her fruit trees, everything in one plot. She would disappear in there and then just pull out the biggest carrot you could ever imagine. And that sort of inspired me to start Farmwall. Farmwall is a small-scale vertical farm, and it's a biodiverse ecosystem. So it's a piece of technology, a piece of hardware that works in coherence with nature. We use a principle called aquaponics, which is a symbiotic relationship between plant and fish. Farmwall basically nurtures that relationship between aquatic life and plant life, provides the perfect environment, nutrients, air and light for food to grow. Farmwall on its 4 levels can grow leafy greens, microgreens, even mushrooms, and it allows us to actually grow food indoors in spaces where we normally wouldn't be having access to fresh organic produce. A Farmwall gives us the opportunity to do that in a school, in an office, in a classroom, in our homes. Farmwall methodology allows us to bring nature into our cities, and because of it being a closed-loop natural ecosystem, it doesn't generate any waste either. We grow in completely organic materials, our seeds are untreated, the fish provide the nutrients, water gets circulated, so it's about 99% less water intensive than traditional agriculture. And because our food is alive, there's no food waste either. During COVID, we delivered a program called Resilience Growing, a tool to engage people with growing food at home. We never actually were able to meet those people face to face. Funding that's been provided has allowed us to kind of rethink that model that we had in the past and actually turn it back into something that brings value to the physical community. Farmwall is a unique opportunity through this grant to deliver this course and take it to the next level. We can scale it in the future and use it as a tool to educate more people about what it takes to grow food in a natural, closed-loop way in an urban environment. Our ecosystem platform is the platform that connects the community. We are developing our educational resources that we deliver face-to-face in a digital way. So if things like COVID happen again, our ecosystem platform allows us to go digital without losing any traction. Our dream is that it becomes a thriving digital platform with endless amounts of digital educational resources, but also a way to connect people with each other when it comes to building regenerative food systems. An urban food system and urban food security is education on one end, but connectivity on another end as well.
Paperloop is a circular economy project led by Darebin. At Paperloop, we create 100% biodegradable packaging from repurposed cardboard boxes, which are donated by local residents and individuals. We sell our product online through Shopify, and all funds raised go back into funding community services. Thanks to the funding we've received for this grant, we've been able to showcase what can be achieved on a grassroots level. Paperloop has provided volunteering opportunities for people living with disabilities and neurodiversity. Our volunteer program has improved social connection, inclusion, skills and confidence levels. 2 volunteers in particular have really benefited and are now enrolled in other Darebin programs. We've had many conversations with community members which led to them viewing their waste and consumption differently. We've also participated in a range of community events. This has resulted in raising awareness around circular economies, the Paperloop program and waste diversion. As a social enterprise, we see an opportunity to scale Paperloop up. We've partnered with KPMG to form a business case and identify strengths and weaknesses and opportunity areas and potential for growth. To take Paperloop to the next level, we'll need to engage professionals to guide us through building the business and creating marketing plans that would give us leverage to apply for further grant and funding, which will help us build business awareness locally, engage with potential clients and help us increase our sales.
My name is Amanda Morgan. I am the CEO and Head of Research and Development for Fungi Solutions. We're a Thornbury-based facility that are taking in local wastes and recycling them with fungi to create sustainable alternatives to single-use plastics. Mycelium is really great with anything woody, fibrous, the stalks, the stems, the leaves, the shells and the hulls of agricultural produce. So we're really passionate about diverting those resources from landfill, and we produce anything where you might be using something like a polystyrene material. With the funding, we've been able to secure some additional storage. To date, we've been able to take in a tonne of waste, and this will allow us to sort of expand to process 40 tonnes of waste next year. We've also picked up a new shredder mill for the agricultural offcuts that we need to process and mill down into a fine grain for the materials. It also expands the types and volume of waste that we can process here. We've gotten some new ovens so we can heat treat the materials. All that will sort of allow us to increase our capacity and begin supplying mycelium solutions to the local area. really on the cusp of like a brand new industry emerging in the microcycling space. At the end of the life of these materials, they can simply be composted back down into the soil. So you're reintroducing those nutrients and you're not losing value anywhere along that supply chain. You're solving that disposal challenge and creating revenue streams from something that was essentially valueless. Microcycling is just such an exciting opportunity to generate value from where there was a waste problem.
Reground are a Melbourne-based social enterprise embedded in the circular economy. We collect ground coffee and soft plastics and work on a broad range of waste and resource recovery projects.
I am the consultancy director at Reground, so I lead
the team who work on all different types of waste and resource recovery projects. Darebin City Council has provided funding for Reground to undertake a feasibility and research study in Station Street.
Fairfield Village is our closest business precinct to our office, and a lot of our team members pop down there for lunch or they grab something on the way home, and we're noticing that there's a lot of soft plastics being produced. So we decided to apply for the grant to help eliminate these plastics and make sure they're recovered and don't end up in landfill.
The feasibility study involves undertaking trader consultations.
We spoke to a lot of traders on the street to understand their waste behaviours and their current disposal method of soft plastics, and just get a broader understanding of the habits and systems that are currently in place.
So we have been working with the Traders Association group, as well as the individual traders themselves, and all different departments at the council to understand who is the key decision makers and work with all of the stakeholders involved. When we've engaged with the traders throughout the project, it has been really clear that sustainability is at the forefront of their minds. They've been highly engaged and are really wanting to take further action with waste and recycling. Everything we do at Reground is based in data. So we've done really thorough visual waste audits on Station Street, which has meant looking through the current waste that is generated, identifying the types of materials, and also the types of contamination that we're seeing. This data collected from the visual waste audit has then been put into a report. The report and the recommendations has built the collections model, which we are proposing to roll out at Station Street. And the next steps for us are to get all of the traders on board and to align with council to ensure it can be rolled out successfully. To date, Reground have diverted over 110,000 kilos of soft plastic from landfill, and the Station Street soft plastics collection will add to this impact.
Circus Nexus is a circus for social impact. We're based here in Preston. We have our studio. Our vision is to use circus and creative arts to support positive outcomes for Victorians. That is who we are and what we do. We run 4 different programs. 2 of those programs are fee-for-service programs, where the money that we earn goes towards supporting our other 2 programs. One supports vulnerable Victorians, and the other one supports emerging artists. In our outreach projects, we have 3 target groups. So we work with First Nations people, we work with people with disability, and we work with culturally and linguistically diverse young people. Circus Nexus has been around for about 25 years. And I believe the last time that we had support to develop our evaluation processes was about 15 years ago. So we've been using those processes since then, and obviously a lot has changed in that time. The support that we received here allowed us to do training in a type of impact measurement called social return on investment, but also included a mentorship that has helped us to develop our evaluation processes and tools. Return on investment is a process that allows you to put a financial value on the social impact that you achieve. This is really useful, I guess, in telling your story. If you can tell your story better, then you probably can get better support. That's what I thought it would do. In fact, not only has it done that, but it's allowed us to better understand what the people who are feeling that impact see as being important, making sure that what we're doing is what people want to have happen. What this means to our programs is that we can design better programs that are making sure they're actually responding to the need in the community, really focusing on the people who we're working with. We've overhauled our evaluation framework. We've looked at what are the outcomes that we think our work achieves, and we've had support from Think Impact to make sure that we're really clear on what those outcomes are. And then we've got really clear and best practice ways of assessing those outcomes. As a result of this training, we're better able to do it more authentically and to have outcomes that are much more focused in what the participants are really identifying as the outcomes they need, rather than what we might think are the outcomes that they need.
I'm the founder and director of Melbourne Farmers Markets. We're here at the Alphington Community Food Hub, which we established 5 years ago. Our weekly Sunday farmers markets is kind of the tip of the iceberg. It's the active thing that the community sees, and it supports about 35 stallholders from across Victoria. We run 2 other weekly farmers markets supporting about 130 businesses to connect urban communities with Victorian farmers direct from producer to consumer. We wanted to be able to provide something that was unique in Melbourne, and that is to have a village community in the heart of the city for regional producers to be able to have a little base, meet customers, have pool room space and kitchen facilities, and do more with their trip into Melbourne each week. We have many relationships with Darebin businesses. The Northcote Bake Shop have introduced us to the Wangan Cup program. We work closely with the Sporadical City Mushrooms and the Mushroomery, waste minimisation programs, Farmwall, Reground. During the pandemic, the Fabulous Street brought together a number of social enterprises to create Moving Feast. We addressed a lot of different food security issues of the time. It meant that we could help our producers who might have lost customers to find new ones, and we supported them through the depot to be able to receive and dispatch 50 tonnes of food over the year through the wonderful Darebin Information Volunteer Resource Service. As a result, they now grow on-site fresh produce for food relief through their own agencies, and we're able to supply into it, but also share this site for communities throughout Darebin to have the garden for purpose. The documentary will capture the very short history of our being on site, but I think it'll also start to explore the past few uses and the really long history of the space here on Wurundjeri land. We're so proud of the transformation of this very physical site. It's been done with the community involved, driving us because they want it here. This opportunity to highlight social enterprises and see the sort of creativity and the thinking and the collaboration, I think is the most valuable thing about this project.
Ceres Fairwood is a sustainable timber yard that is one of the enterprises under Ceres Environment Park in Brunswick East. We are a supplier of sustainable timber that's locally grown, that supports farm foresters and connects the market to truly sustainable timber. Anybody can come in that has any interest in timber, from a hobbyist wanting to carve a spoon through to a builder or an architect wanting to plan out multiple jobs.
The way we've connected with Darebin on this project is through getting our firewood sales online. Up until now, it's been a bit more of a manual process, so you have to call or email us, and there's a few steps in that process. So basically the e-commerce platform means that people can go online and order a cage or multiple cages of the firewood, and then we can deliver it within the following couple of days. Functionality that we're doing with the firewood to our other product lines, and that over time, can create up to 10 additional jobs.
I've been at the Neighbourhood House now for about 10 or 11 years. The cafe is part of the Neighbourhood House, though it's a separate social enterprise in itself. It's something that people had wanted right from the beginning. And I thought about that for a very long time, and then community members helped me to design and develop the cafe, and then we received a grant and a few other things. So, voila.
I've worked at Birds and Beans Café for about a year now. Almost everyone here is from the community or someone at the leisure centre that's wanting a nice little drink, and we're happy to provide that.
We developed the cafe in the beginning for training for women to improve economic independence. So sometimes I've been out of the workforce for 5-10 years and we're ready and wanting to start somewhere. In the growth of the cafe, we sort of were putting on more drinks and more items, and found that difficult to manage without a proper system in place. We didn't have some of the equipment that make it easier like the other cafes. We utilised the grant to purchase a square-up machine.
Well, with it being a training cafe, it really helps to have a bigger version. Having that has really helped the speed of making coffees.
Now we can actually have 2 people in there, and you can train someone at the same time. So it was more efficient as soon as we were able to get the grant and implement the process. When we first started with the cafe, it came with a little fridge, fitted 2 UHT milks and 1 2-litre bottle of regular fridge milk.
Throughout the day, we could go through a good amount of milk.
Having the money through the grant to buy a proper fitted out fridge means that we've maximised the amount that we can fit, and it's perfect. It's made a big difference.